You're already sitting on your blankets?
Yes.
Okay. Sit up nice and tall. Take your spine and feel like you're being pulled by the crown of the head. And take your ribs in towards your back. So engage your abdomen, your transverse abdominis. Take the hands in front of the heart, prayer position. Now the elbows don't jut out forward. The elbows relax down, they get heavier, and they relax down towards the floor. And you continue to sit tall, taking deep breaths in and out. Your eyes are closed. And you maintain the sensation of being pulled up by the crown of the head. Feel how that engages your abdomen. And let's do 3 ohms together. Inhaling in through the nose. Draw the chin to the chest. Release the hands, palms up. Lift the head. Slowly open the eyes. All right, let's come up to standing. Stand tall. Open your feet as wide as the mat. Make sure you clear the space so you don't have anything you might be running into. Toes pointing straight ahead. Legs straight. Interlace the fingers. Inhale the arms up. Press through the heels. If the feet are too wide and you want to feel your feet more underneath you, more stable, press through the heels, the outer edges of your feet. Make sure the knees are forcing themselves to go forward. The knees tend to collapse in. So knees going forward, shoulders away from the ears. Couple more breaths. Actively stretch through the arms. Keep the abdomen in to make sure we support the low back. Take the arms all the way down. Change the interlace of the fingers. Turn the palms out. Press through the feet. Inhale the arms up. Shoulders away from the ears. Keep breathing, taking deep breaths. Press through the feet, the heels. Now take your arms all the way back down. Stretch the arms down by your sides. Inhale the arms up all the way up. Palms are facing each other. Stretch the ribs. Now take the hands together and then switch and stretch over, interlace the hands, turn the palms out, and turn and stretch over to the right side. I guess you're not turning, you're just leaning over to the right side. Come back to center and stretch over to the left. See that you feel the stretch on the ribs. Press the right leg firmly on the floor to feel the stretch on the right side. Come back to center and let's go over to the other side again. Keep your chest pointing forward and stretch through the ribs. Come back and then pull on your hands to pull on the arm and stretch over to the left side. Come back to center, release the hands. Okay, I'm going to turn my mat. I think you're good. You're going to, for you, you're going to turn and face your mat if your low back is stiff, and you're going to face your furniture, and you're going to take your hands on your furniture as you open your feet up nice and wide, and you can rest the forehead, but your back has to be flat. You have to take the shoulder blades in towards each other. You have to pull the abdomen in, and you have to feel that suctioning in of the lowest part of the abdomen. Now, if you feel like that's good, and you want to have your hands on the floor, but I think we should start easy. So you can start with your hands on furniture, couch. You could even grab your ottoman and put your hands on it eventually, so that, now shift your weight back so that your weight and make sure you have nice and, you have space to lengthen your ribs. So make sure that your feet are not too close to the furniture. If you're resting your arms, there you go, like how you're resting your arms, much better. So keep walking your feet backwards, lengthening through your ribs, much better. Do you feel the difference? You want to feel length into your ribs. So maybe even try it. Try walking your feet further back and see, oh wait, that's too far now. All right, go ahead and walk the feet forward and come up to standing. Now you're going to do the same thing, 90-degree stretch. I'm going to do down dog. So you're going to put your hands on your furniture. Walk your feet way back so that you feel a stretch into your side ribs and you feel your abdomen scoop in. And if you don't feel that, tell me so that I can help you. Good. Nice. Feel the stretch into the armpits like we did for when we started the class and we had the arms up overhead. Or Vahastasana. Stretching, keep lifting the hips up towards the ceiling and use your abdomen to lift your spine up towards the ceiling as well. Press your feet into the floor, press your heels, lift your kneecaps upwards towards the hips. Your legs are very firm. Firm legs. All right, walk your feet forward. That's it, come up to standing. All right, now grab your ottoman, grab your chair. I think you have that tall chair that I think if you can do something where you can rest like so, just to stretch the low back a little bit. We're not gonna be there too long. Yes. Now, it's not the back rounding at all. You have to keep that back nice and flat as you rest your head, forehead, maybe just the arms, but the back is flat. And what takes my chest down is my abdomen moving in towards the spine and back. Keep breathing into Uttanasana, forward fold. Your legs are straight. Okay, let's go ahead and come out and release. Okay, that was the stretch, the stretch of the legs of the standing poses. Now you're going to come down to the floor and you're going to take your block and let's see, we're going to use your block and your bolster. Okay. This should feel good. We're going to start with the pose where you slide off of the bolster when you're on your back. You slide and your shoulders touch. And for you, we keep the knees bent. You can start working on one leg straight eventually, but right now, or excuse me, both legs straight. Right now, let's just have the legs bent. And then let me know how this feels onto your back. The next stage would be resting the feet on the block. And the legs are very straight, like they were for all of the standing poses. And here, let your hips relax onto the bolster. Let your shoulder blades come underneath you. Let the back of the neck stretch. Let the ribs stretch. How does your low back feel?
It's getting a stretch.
But not painful?
No.
Good. That's what, I just want to make sure that your back is good. Couple more breaths. Lengthen the tailbone away from your head. Stretch your waist. All right, we're going to come out. You're going to bend your knees. Well, they're already bent. I'm bending my knees since I was in the full pose. Then you're going to roll them to the side. Stay there for a breath if you need to, then press up to seated. Awesome. Okay, so for our next poses, we're going to be seated. I think we need a couple blankets and your block, possibly to rest your hand on. Okay, you're going to take your blanket or blankets and you're going to fold them in a long bolster kind of way. All righty. Okay. And then you're going to sit on them. Let me see. There you are. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have my block handy in case I need to put my hand on it. Okay. Now the first pose is a twist, seated twist. It's called achy. And you're going to take your right knee and you're going to bend your right knee into your chest. And now let's just practice the first stage of it, which is one leg is stretched out and the other leg is bent with the knee as close towards my chest as I can bring it. My toes are, my bent knee, the toes are pointing straight ahead. I can even open the right foot out to the side a little bit if it helps with my stability. So this is the side view. My back is straight and I look straight ahead. right, so stay there. Keep pulling on your knee to keep taking your chest forward, but don't overarch your low back. So in this pose, I can feel my abdomen. So I squeeze my abdomen back towards my low back. I stretch that leg, toes are pointing straight up. Okay, so now let's release the right leg. Position ourselves again so that just the sit bones are on the blanket. Do you need more height on your blanket? You know you need more height if it's hard for your back to stay upright. If, oh man, my back is already feeling tight, or oh, the middle of my back is already hurting, then we go ahead and we grab another blanket. Or maybe you put your back against the, you know what would be better? If you put your back against the furniture actually. So instead of adding more height, because I think what that's gonna do, it's going to hyperextend your knee. So instead, let's keep the height low. And instead, let's move your body back into your back against your furniture. So I'm gonna use this chair as if it's my furniture. Like that. Oh, I'm gonna show you this here. Like that. Yeah, I think that's better. Because now I have something to support my back as I take my left knee to my chest. Better. Okay, good. So now you can squeeze your knee into your chest. You can use your back against your furniture to press back into the furniture, to press your abdomen back into the furniture. And I'm getting some cramping into my hip because that means I'm flexing it all the way. My extended leg is very extended. See, if we had more height, then both of our knees would be, there's nothing supporting the knee then. Okay, let's switch sides one more time. Marichiyasana 1. Okay, so now, if I had my block, or if you need your block, you're going to have your right knee into your chest. You're going to take your left hand on your block or on the floor. Stretch your right arm way up. Take your right arm on the inside of the right leg and turn towards your stretched out leg. You have to push the right hip into the floor. The right hip cannot be hiking up. Okay, let's go ahead and come out. Stretch the right leg out. How did that go?
Okay.
Successfully?
I'm just really tight this morning.
Yeah, we're gonna just use our props. You're going to, and check this out. If the left knee into the chest is plenty, that's plenty. You don't have to take the hand down. It feels nice to turn. So the turns are nice for the low back. Yeah, and they're very gentle, easy movements. They're, oh, my hip. They are minuscule movements. The body needs us to be gentle when we're helping it heal. Like a mom, right? Like a mom would be like, it's okay. We're gonna go slowly. Now I am going to turn just to show you. Show the hand on the outside of my stretched out hip, and then I turn my belly towards the stretched out leg. I know the furniture is in the way, I get it. Then I come back to center. I push my body into my furniture to stretch my leg out. Okay, go ahead and come out of that. How are you feeling? Was that enough on the low back seated?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because we're going to go to the next thing then. From here, you're going to take your bolster and you're going to have it handy. And we're going to use it for our face up leg stretches. These are phenomenal for the low back. Okay, so I'm going to need my belt and I'm going to need my bolster. Now, when I go into the pose, we're going to go from face up. So we'll go through the whole settling the body, so on. Okay, we're going to go from bent knee, stretched leg, to bent knee, leg out to the side. Now you can have your bolster very close to your hip, just like so. Now the game here is to engage your abs to keep your pelvis stable. Your bent knee hip cannot hike up. That's why you have to push it back into the floor behind you. And that's what strengthens your back. Alrighty, so let's try. Let's start with lying down on the back. Both knees are bent. Shoulder blades underneath you. And let's talk about the pelvis. The pelvis likes to anteriorly tilt on a lot of women. And it can be too much where the low back is just unstable. So you want to have the tiniest posterior tilt, which means your pelvis moves back towards the floor behind you. And that engages your abs. Did you feel that a little bit? So
Towards my feet.
I'm sorry?
The tilt towards my feet.
Right? Yeah, the tilt towards the knees. Wait, the tilt towards your knees hurts your knees?
No, I'm tilting towards my knees, right?
Yeah, the tilting towards your knees, that is destabilizing. Tilting away from your knees engages your abs, particularly the lower portion of the abdominal complex, and that stabilizes your abs into your spine, which support your spine. We create the right amount of space between the vertebrae, but it's not gripping or clenching the hip flexors. That's different. That's when you kind of just do the hook, like, and like, thrust your pelvis forward. That's just your hip flexors contracting. All right, so let's make sure that we engage the abs. And so we're taking the time today, Tiffany, to get your pelvis and your low abs stable as we continue your yoga practice. Okay, let's take the right leg up and go back to that stabilizing of the abs. You almost want to feel like you're pushing your hips back into the floor behind you. Feel a stretch into the hamstring. And keep pushing the hips slightly back towards the floor behind you. You do lose the lumbar curvature a little bit. Okay, let's take the hand over as high up to the foot as they can. Hold the belt with the right hand. Make sure your bolster is flush against your hip. And open the leg out to the side very slowly. So you feel the left leg, left hip stable. When I feel the stretch mostly into the right in the groin. Press through the heel, stretch the heel away. Stretch the hamstring, the calf, the back of the knee. And bring the leg back up to center. Stretch the back of the leg again. Hold the belt on each hand. Do you feel safe stretching the other leg out?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's try. And if it doesn't feel good on your low back, then just come back. Now stretch both legs out. Stiff, straight legs. Not stiff. Firm. Go ahead and bend both of your knees. Bend the right knee into the chest. Remove the belt. Take your right foot on the floor next to your left one. But your feet are slightly wide. They're hip width apart. Not too wide. Your hips are not too wide. Okay, now feel the difference between your right side and your left side. Let's go to the other side. Let's take the bolster with us as well. The bolster moves over to the left side of the body. Your knees are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Anchor your right foot. Screw the heel into the floor and take the left knee into your chest like you did when you were seated on the floor with your back against the furniture. Okay, now take your belt up over your heel. Keep your knee into your chest. Then, holding the belt on each hand, stretch through the heel to stretch the back of the leg. Feeling the mechanics of the hip, the knee, press through the heel. That's called dorsal flex. The top of the foot is called the dorsal foot. Feel the stretch into your hammy, all the way up to your calf. Straighten the leg. Deep breaths. Now, grab the foot, the hand as close to the left foot as you can, the left hand. Grab the belt with the left hand only. Your bolster is flush against your hip. And you stretch the leg out to the side. And you feel the stretch on the inner thigh. Or wherever you feel it. I feel it on my inner thigh and the back of my knee. Tremendously. Also the back of my left neck. Ooh, had a little rush there. Keep stretching through the heels. Push your right hip into the floor to levelize your hips. Even out your hips. Bring the leg back up to center. Stretch both legs out. Hold the belt on each hand. Bend your left knee. Stretch your left leg out. Let your low back rest. Okay. Now go ahead and roll onto your side and press up to seated. You probably want to have your back against your furniture for the next pose. It's Upavishta Konasana. So you're going to have your legs straight out in front of you. Then we're going to open them wide. Now what I would like to do is I would like to have my mat against the wall, the furniture. Then I can sit. How does it feel if you sit on the floor with your back against the furniture supporting it? Is that too much? And if it is, then you can grab your blanket that's folded into the bolster size and place it for you to sit on. I think you would be fine. And to be honest, I think the blanket would be a hyperextension into your knee.
I think I need the blanket. It was a little uncomfortable.
Let me see how we can do this then. Keep a slight little bend to your knee, okay? Don't worry about stretching the heels out too much, so that way your knees are have something. Or let me think. Do you have another blanket?
Yeah.
Or even two
Yes.
pillows? Something that you can put underneath your knees so that we don't hyper, because that knee joint is so movable, it's movable, it moves a lot. And I don't want it to, I would not want your knee to be hurting. So that way you can stretch, see, like that. Oh, that would feel so good. Oh my gosh, I'm doing it myself. And that's great for those of us that have tight knees. And we still need a little support. There we go. There. Or I would even support my whole leg. But then I would just be on the floor. Okay, let's figure it out. Just underneath my knee. Oh. Okay, how's your back? My hip. Huh? I'm doing a lot of therapy on it. All right. Upavishta Konasana, sitting up nice and tall. There. Stretch through the heels. Now take the inside of the knees. We won't be here too long. Take the bottoms of the feet together. And now sit up tall. Take the knees down towards the floor. All right, let's get out of the seated portion of it. Stretch your legs out. Now, let's grab bolsters and blankets for a supported child's pose. So get as much height as you can get. And the height supports your abdomen to take your hips back and down towards your heels. Start from a seated position with your buttocks touching your heels. Then take your arms on either side of your bolster, your support. Already press your hips back towards your heels, stretching your low back away from your head, and then you lie down. It's like you gently lie down the torso over the blankets. You create this traction. You create a traction, not distraction. Now feel how your knees roll outwards. The femur, the big bone of the leg, rotates to the outside of the body towards the mat. So it's not the knees squeezing in towards the bolster. Feel the thighs rolling outwards. It's called a lateral rotation of the femur. That's great. You keep doing that. And that makes the low back spread. Keep breathing. Stretch the toes, the tops of the feet. If you haven't turned the head to the other side, do so. Now here, when you exhale, let's work on taking the abdomen back towards the sit bones, back towards the groin area. So take a deep breath in, inhale, feel the expansion of your ribs. And then when you exhale, take the belly back towards the low back. Feel that massaging occur. Inhale. Expansion of the low back, of the ribs, of the hips. Exhaling. And it's a very gentle, just a gentle withdrawing of the abdomen back towards the spine. Nothing harsh. Keep going. I just choked myself there. Make sure you turn your head to the other side so that you don't choke. So that any tension that comes to your neck is released. Stretch the chin away from the shoulders. Push into your shins. Stretch the front of the ankle, the front of the foot. Go ahead and press yourself up to seated. Press onto your side, move your bolsters, stretch your legs out. Now, while you stretch your legs, because we were there for a while with the knees flexed, press through the heels, support your back by taking your hands behind you. Okay, I'm gonna show quickly. All right, the next pose. You're going to lie down on your back. You're going to lift your hips up. Take your bolster underneath you. And then rest your legs. Rest your shoulders. Shoulders are underneath you. And then rest your hips. We're going to be here for a little while. Okay, then to come out, lift your hips, move your bolster, lower down, and then we'll get ready for legs up the furniture. All right, so first, supporting the sacrum with the bolster. Knees are bent, lift the hips, take the bolster underneath you. So it's a supported bridge pose again. At this time, you're going to take the bolster higher towards your sternum, prepping you for Viparita Karani. The bolster supports your lowest ribs. I feel a really nice traction into my low back in this pose. Feel how your abdomen expands completely when you take a deep breath in. Have your knees be pointing straight up. Don't let the knees squeeze in towards each other. All right, let's come out. Lift the hips up, pull the bolster away, lower the hips all the way down. Now, ideally, you would rest in Viparita Karani with your bolster underneath you. The same way you just had it, but your legs would be up the wall. So ideally, you would go with that really awesome arch. So I make sure that I'm right on the center of my bolster, my lift. And I also make sure that my lift supports my bottom, my lowest rib. So it's a little higher than just the pelvis. Then you do stretch through your legs. Take deep, deep breaths here, Tiff. Deep, deep breaths. You're in an amazing position to stimulate your adrenal glands on the kidneys because we're pressing on them. You're stimulating your thymus because you're taking deep breaths into that sternum, just pumping that. Then we're stimulating the thyroid because we're squeezing it. The sternum moves towards the chin, pumping. And the pineal gland. Just rest your legs there. You gotta find your wall. While you're there, get your shoulder blades underneath you a little tiny, tiny bit more. Remember, micro movements. Oh, that felt good. I got some nice breathing in there. Viparita Karani. I'll go into it with a block. Just for fun. Couple more breaths. Let's do 6 more breaths. To come out. Let's see, careful with that support you have going there. I would push the support away. I would rest my calves on it. Once the support is stable, then I would move my body. I would roll to the side. All right, get yourself up, set yourself up for final resting pose. For you, I would have your legs up on your ottoman or on your chair. No, you know what? It's final resting pose. I take that back. Let's just do bolster. It's just a bolster. Or blankets, whatever feels good for underneath your knees. If you want something underneath your head, but don't have it so that your chin closes your neck. You still want your chin moving away. You still want length into your neck. Your arms are not too far away from you. You don't want them shoulder height. The hands are slightly away from the body, lower than the heart. All right, good night. I just got really relaxed. All right. Oh, Saturn. That's it. I was supposed to have my open house last Thursday on the 24th, and it just didn't feel right. And I'm like, no, it's on Tuesday, the 29th. And tomorrow, Saturn goes direct, and basically talking about all, the sacrifices, all the hard work done for the last 3 years. It's harvest time. So I'm like, yes. That's it, dear. Slightly open your eyes. Prepare your body to move. Roll onto your side. Gently press up to seated. As you move throughout your day, remember your practice. Remember the contractions, the way in which you stabilize your pelvis. Sitting nice and tall. Thank you for joining me for your practice today. The light in me salutes the light in you. Namaste. Thank you, love.
Thank you, dear.
Hopefully you're feeling stronger.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
I don't think I can come tomorrow. I really wanted to, but I'm on a podcast kind of right in the middle of it.